Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Racial Review, where we critically discuss racial movies and inform haters to not hate by referencing intellectual works. I'm your host, Quang and He of Group 3 Fighting, and today we are going to look at Django Unchained, the hero or the brutal. So Django Unchained is set in pre-Civil War South American slave plantations. It is the story of a white bounty hunter named Schultz, who is mentor and partner to Django, a black slave, Schultz free. It's a Tarantino movie, so there was blood and gore and bullets and cursing everywhere. Django and Schultz made a great buddy cop duo. So they heard Django's wife, Broomhilda, was at this plantation called Candyland, and the buddy cop duo came up with a plan to free her. So Django would fake being Schultz's slave. They go in, Schultz buys her from Candy, they go out to the north. Quick and easy, right? Or is it? So they tried the easy way, but crap hit the fan real fast, and in the end, Schultz died to kill Candy. After a gunfight, Broomhilda escapes with Django, and they marry free. Now that we got that out of the way, let the woke journey begin.
So the first question comes from Angel at buying.com. This doesn't look like a freedom movie. This is just another R-rated action flick stuck to a slave freedom plot. That's not a question, Angel. That is just a statement, and it is false. Well, it's technically true on the surface, but if you think about it, not really. And let me tell you why. The violence in Django is vengeance, and vengeance isn't supposed to make you feel good about it. So when Django was shooting a crap out of those white guys, you don't feel free. You go, what the heck? And it's meant to provoke strong emotions out of you. Django isn't playing nice like Dr. Martin Luther King did. He's going full on at it in his violence, which isn't any different from the violence he endured at the hands of his white masters. And in movies, white slave owners' violence often goes unnoticed just because of how often it's portrayed, but when it's juxtaposed next to Django's, it wakes you up and forces you to look at both kinds of violence.
For Django, he is witnessing the American heritage of oppressing black people that Coates' letter to his son mentioned. This is a society where slavery was the norm and legal. You can really see how brutal and commonplace the mistreatment of black people were. It just sucks, it's oppressive, it's violent. It's a world where black people are out in public being scared all the time for magically no reason at all, but any and all the reason in the world. So now for something that feels good, like Baldwin's letter to his nephew, where the future is bright and great and hopeful, it's only in the ending where Django marries Broomhilda, both free. But the entire movie was more like Coates' world, where it's not supposed to make you feel good and liberating, it's supposed to wake you up in a horrible reality. I never get questions on this show. He Zhang is at a loss for words, angry and mostly confused at Stephen, how he flips the table onto his fellow black people and fellow slaves, how he could do something like that, and how he was so sad and loyal to Candy, who was a terribly racist POS. Well, here's why. I have my top expert on this subject matter, Dr. Ian Jones, a professor of anthropology at UCSD. He gave a great answer on the structure of racism underlying this whole society. So, well, this was the South, notorious for its slavery system on a notorious slave plantation called Candyland, owned by a notorious slave owner named Candy. So we're not dealing with casual racism, the kind that middle schoolers say because they heard it somewhere, or your drunk Uncle Thomas at the Thanksgiving dinner table. This is a land with racism baked into every nooks and crannies, every corner of its existence. To apply Dr. Jones' logic, in Candyland and the southern states, being in social power gives you not just the right, but the duty to be terrible to black people. So blacks have no de jure, de facto, de anything safety in this world. You can literally be black while in public down here. So in this caste system, Candy made Stephen his house slave, which is a butler who controls, oversees, and is above all other slaves. For Stephen, who drank too much of this Southern Kool-Aid, violence on black is just something those in power do. And now this is a long shot, but in Brodkin's book, How Jews Became White Folks, she explained how the Jewish people in America had a double consciousness, where they were not strictly white when it came to being actual white people, but they were definitely white when it came to the question, are they black? So Brodkin argued that Jewish Americans did not succeed in spite of, but because of white-black racial imbalance. So Candy basically empowered Stephen. He had successfully convinced Stephen that the slaves below him are inferior to him. So in a way, you can say Stephen doesn't really see race like a biological thing, but he sees benefits in his place in society. So Candy is all the social status, power, all the pay that Stephen had ever known. And that is why Stephen was so loyal and sad when Candy was shot. Candy made Stephen the whitest black man around. Alright, that's it everyone. We're running out of time here. We had some great questions, non-questions today, and I hope this has turned several of you guys woke. Next up on the racial review, how come LA Twilight only has one actress throughout? I am your host, Quang of Group 3 Fighting, and I will see you all in our next episode. Stay woke, y'all!